Sometimes tragedy brings people together. Today, Kamala was reunited with AutoPen. They were spotted together at Dick Cheney's memorial service, and you could feel the tension in the pews. Biden walked in, and immediately it got awkward. The big guy was looking down and around, everywhere but at his former VP. Kamala was waiting for a hello, an acknowledgement, anything. She was like, man, he really is old. He forgot who I am. But Biden put his arm out and shook her hand and said, nice to see you, Kamala. That's it. That's what a lip reader told the Daily Mail. Dr. Jill said, he wasn't ignoring you, baby girl. Relax. Harris was wagging her finger. I know he wasn't. I was thinking you're going to look at me, but he didn't. And where was Doug? Probably at spin class, breaking a sweat and taking a schwitz. During the funeral, Kamala and Jill barely talked. The doctor broke the ice, but it didn't look that friendly. Remember, Jill was anti-Kamala from the jump. She called her husband racist. But she was loyal to Joe. She didn't throw him under the bus. That was Barack and Nance. Even though everyone wanted her to, they still do. Kamala, 2 days ago, was still defending the big guy.
I feel like it was incumbent upon him to say to you, you go do what you need to do. If you need to throw me under the bus on a few things, you go do that, because we got to beat this mother. And instead, he did the opposite of that.
I just have to be very candid for the sake of my own well-being and sanity. That's not where I'm focused.
Kamala wrote a gossip book trashing Joe, and she doesn't want to talk about him anymore on her book tour. Biden must have gotten to her. He's all ego. He said from the start that Kamala couldn't win, and he still thinks he would have won if Barry hadn't staged the coup. Biden's inner circle says it wasn't Joe who needed an IQ test. It was the Democrat Party.
I thought the Democratic Party lost its mind. That's what I thought.
Democratic Party lost its mind. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is I thought that Joe Biden was the best candidate. I thought he was the most likely person to be elected president. I thought he'd be the best president. On the day he got out of the race, he was behind Trump by 3 points. I thought he was disloyal. I thought it was an act of betrayal against the president.
Good thing Barack Hussein Obama wasn't there, or else the church would have blown up. A few weeks ago, Barack and Joe snubbed each other at Cafe Milano. It was the snub heard round the world. Where's Barack? Where's Michelle? This is Michelle's third straight no-show. She snubbed Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration and blamed it on scheduling conflicts. The only thing Michelle's been busy with is her podcast. She's out there calling the country sexist, said America isn't ready to vote for a woman, told us we need to grow up. But she can't spare a few minutes to pay her respects? She must have known Nancy was going to be there. Nance has been talking smack.
I respect her, and I know that view is one that we all are saddened by, but I think we have to change. The fact is that I've heard every excuse in the book. I thought the American people were much more ready for a woman president. Just the thought of it's so exciting, and the message it sends to the world.
Nancy isn't alone. Stephen A. is saying, don't you point your finger at us, girl.
Didn't we just see Abigail Spanberger win in Virginia, the gubernatorial seat? Isn't Kathy Hochul the governor of New York? Am I missing something? Don't look at this country and point to men and act like we wouldn't vote for you. Yes, we would. Yes, we would. Run, Michelle, run.
Remember, Stephen A. wasn't happy when Barack wagged his fingers at the base. Now the Obamas are back at it, calling him sexist. Nancy has more beef, and she's letting it all out. She's fuming at Hillary.
Why go now?
Why did I retire?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've been eager to sort of go into another phase of life for a while. I thought Hillary Clinton was going to win in 2016, and the Affordable Care Act would be intact, and our country would be in great hands. She was so qualified, and then that didn't happen, so we had to stay to make the fight.
Look at it this way, Nancy. You stayed in office for 10 more years and made $100 million. I'm sure Paulie P. has no regrets. I guess Hillary's the reason Pelosi has such bad TDS. And it's not looking great for Nance. It's starting to spread to her bones.
He was that President Trump was a vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth. Do you think he's different now than he was in his first term in terms of his abilities, his leadership?
By the way, I said that as a euphemism. I could have done much worse.
You could have done worse. You could have said worse.
Yeah.
Every day, your chances of surviving this terminal case of TDS get worse.
Donald Trump is the worst president of the United States for America's children. The worst president American children have ever had. President Trump is the biggest con job in American history.
It's not just Nancy losing her mind. Chronic TDS is plaguing the whole party.
First of all, you. You to the highest order of you that you can be. Don't you ever ask me about that, you. And second of all, your guy hosted a live golf tournament in the shadow of the towers with the Saudis and palled around with them. So again, let me repeat myself. Yahoo.
When most people suffer from an affliction, their doctors tell them to cut out the cause. But if you're in politics or the media, you can't cut out Donald Trump. So it eats you alive day after day after day. Raising Cain and his ponytail think they found a cure, even though it's been tried twice. The I word.
In these times of challenge and controversy, we stand for the remedy that can make the difference and maintain the democracy, and that remedy is impeachment. Impeachment. But that's not enough. That's not enough. Impeachment we must do.
Maybe impeachment is like the vaccine. You need 2 shots and a booster. The left so triggered that Kamala's book tours turned into a therapy session.
Obviously, the book is about these 107 days, and it's a little traumatic for all of us. I mean, not to make this about me. I think this is probably true for everybody in here.
How are you feeling? How you doing?
Thank you. I just wanted you to win so bad.
Since the cross-legged Messiah isn't performing miracles, Kamala's going to church and praying for one.
I'm taking us to church.
Amen.
And we have the power. And we will take our power. We are strong. We love our country. We care about community. And we love the South.
You know who should be saying his prayers? Chuck, the Palestinian. Better start saying Allah Akbar.
Look at where Chuck Schumer is. He's underwater with Democrats in the most recent Fox News poll, -2 points. But at this point, Hakeem Jeffries is running over 30 points better with Democrats nationally than Chuck Schumer is. The anger on the left is much more so against Chuck Schumer than it is against Hakeem Jeffries.
Chuck and Hakeem better watch out. Raising Cain wants to trade his cane for a sombrero.
No, I have not spoken to Democratic leadership. I am a liberated Democrat. Now,
we're looking at Democratic leadership right here.
That's right.
There's that Cain cameo. We all know this isn't Al Green's party, and it's not Barack's, Biden's, or Kamala's. The party belongs to Kwame the Commie, and the Commie Caucus is kicking off a Dem bloodbath. They're predicting at least 30% of House Democrats could get primaried. That number might turn out to be even higher. The Commie Caucus is licking their chops. People's hair's on fire. They just feel like they've got to do something. People are pissed, they're sad, they're concerned. It's going to be a bloodbath, they're saying. Tomorrow, the face of the revolution enters the biggest arena of all, the Oval Office, where he'll come face to face with capitalism.
Tomorrow, we have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states.
The commie's the one who requested the meeting. That's smart. MSNBC is like, why would you do that?
What is your goal for a meeting with Donald Trump? What do you want to come out of a meeting with Donald Trump?
I want to just speak plainly to the president about what it means to actually stand up for New Yorkers and the way in which New Yorkers are struggling to afford this city.
Mondami hasn't even been sworn in yet, and his plans are already falling apart.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.